Hi, it's Ileana. So I recently have done an astrocartography mapping of my chart, which is basically an astrological look at who you are and where you live in the world and what's the best place for you to live. And this is a world map. So astrocartography has several different lines running through the chart, and it maps out what planetary alignments and energetic frequencies potentially have an influence over the person based on their horoscope, energy, and proximity to where you live. So basically, there's the ascendant AC, which is your horoscope. For me, I'm a Capricorn, so that's what my AC is. The MC is the midhaven. For me, that's Scorpio. And also the descending one, I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that, what that is on the horoscope, what I fall into. And the IC is basically the middle path of what you connect to in life. It's kind of like in the middle point. So that's kind of explaining the letters, what AC means, what DC means, and MC and IC. So I live in North America. I live in White Rock, British Columbia, Canada, not too far away from Vancouver. I was born in Kharkov, Ukraine, in Europe. So that's where I come from. So to do your astrocartography chart, you need to know when you were born, day, month, year, and the time, the exact precise time when you were born. Like I was born at 8 a.m. I was born in Kharkov, Ukraine. So that's all you need to know. Again, day, month, year, time of birth, exact time of birth, and which city and country you come from. That's what you need to do a cartography chart. And then you can see which planetary alignments and influences are connected to you where you live. Right now I live in North America, White Rock, Canada. That's where I live. So this is the area I focused in. What is it like for me to live in this area? What planetary systems are influencing me? And the symbols that you see, those are the planetary symbols. The ones that influence me are Saturn. That corresponds with duties, responsibilities, and the more serious side of life. Learn about what your values are, transform yourself on a fundamental level. On the IC, the little black symbol that looks like a 5, that's Saturn. So that's one of the influences that I have. Then next to that, I have the moon, which is feeling most emotional and experiencing deeper intuition, having a better capacity for compassion and understanding, for being in touch with one's internal world. So that's how the moon influences me. Then I have Uranus, which is the green symbol that looks sort of like a trident with a circle. And for Uranus, it's flipping the script, having innovation, technology, and experiencing life's extremes, no longer feeling or being stuck in a rut, jolting you into action, looking and finding the unexpected, and having clarity. So that's how Uranus kind of influences me. So those are the middle path ICs. Then I have my DC towards kind of like the left of the map. I have the planet Mars, feeling and having the elements of passion, excitement, and being assertive, cultivating one's inner passions, and becoming a leader. Can have a flip side of being overstimulated or aggravated. Find healthy ways to balance your life. So there's a two-sided coin to this one. All planetary influences can have a positive influence and somewhat of a other perspective influence. Some planets where it's like you have to find a balance, because it could include some things that trigger emotions, that trigger other things to work through. For me, mostly it's just Mars that has that other flip side of influence, and I constantly work on balancing my emotions, my well-being, my health, so I'm not triggered by these things or overstimulated. Then I have Venus, having love, beauty, and success, launching a successful career and finding your soulmate, radiating warmth, beauty, and magnetism. Venus has helped me with career, with happiness and success. Not so much with finding a soulmate, but that's more to do with my own personal preferences and things, to do with my soul stuff. And usually with astrocartography, this is to help you understand where you're living right now, what planetary influences are influencing you, how does that fit with the characteristics of your horoscope sign. I'm a Capricorn, and my midhaven is Scorpio. So for the most part, these planetary alignments and influences are fine for me. I do well with where I am right now based on doing this chart map. I'm not an expert astrologer. I'm not an expert astrocartographer either. I am just doing my own personal reading for myself and sharing the results of that. And I took a 600 miles radius for each of the planetary influences and alignments. How astrocartography works, you take whatever the nearest planetary influence or alignment is to where you live in your city, in the country, right? You take like whatever lines are running horizontal or perpendicular or whatever, nearest the place you live, that's the planetary influences you look at. So the rule is within a 600-mile radius. What's closest to you, that is what is influencing you the most, and that's what you look at. And I mark those off with the blue arrows. That's the point of where I focused. And this particular map comes from astroseek.com. And doing astrocartography is pretty good if you're thinking of moving somewhere else, or just seeing if the place you're living at currently is optimal for you or not. Country, city, seeing what lines are running through those places, if it's the most optimal for you to live in or not. So where I am is optimal for me. And then I did an overall kind of an outcomes from this charting of what the outcomes are. And what I found the result to be is this. Overall, a balanced outcome of living in White Rock, British Columbia, Canada, where the energies are good for having conducive career success and life happiness, with opportunities of having a beautiful home to live in, where things are set up in a harmonious way for life balance and having career success, being self-employed, pursuing being an author, researcher, healer, and practitioner involved in various psychic and medium works with clients. This satisfies both happiness aspects and having multiple career opportunities, good for the body, mind, and the soul of this individual. they will continue to live in this area because it meets all their primary needs for success, happiness, and well-being. So that's kind of the outcomes of my chart, my astrocartography chart for Al-Ka, who is me. I did this chart by myself, for myself, and I wanted to share what this looks like because I found it very healing for me. I found it very illuminating to see who I am on an astrological perspective of where I live, what the energies of the planetary influences and alignments are for me. And it's quite positive. I have good planetary influences in my chart. That's what this showed me. So this is part 1 of part 1 chart. I also did part 2. And this one is a little bit different. This shows the astro map of North America. So focusing mostly on just, again, White Rock, British Columbia, Canada. That 600-mile radius where I live, where the planetary influencing lines are going directly through White Rock underneath Vancouver. That's one of the bigger cities in British Columbia. I'm like 2 hours away from Vancouver. So basically I'm kind of just focusing on these lines for my midhaven, my MC, and in the MC I have a Chiron. And the Chiron is known as the wounded healer, and it is considered to represent a person's deepest emotional and spiritual wounds. It is associated with the archetype of the healer or shaman, and it represents someone's ability to transform pain and suffering into healing as well as growth. So in this perspective, the Chiron is one of the challenging lines for my horoscope, for the astro mapping, astrocartography. It's like literally working out things of the wounded healer. And I actually took courses to be a healer and took courses to be a Native American shaman to work out my energetic frequencies, to figure out who I am and why I'm here on this earth. So I've done the path of exploring the wounded healer aspect quite a bit, to heal my deepest emotional and spiritual wounds. Living in this particular place has made me face that and work through that, because that particular line, it looks like a key with a K, the Chiron. So it's made me face all of those things and work through it and heal through it. And I didn't even know that this was on my chart. That's the beauty of starting to study astrology and astrocartography. You make these interesting discoveries that you didn't even know about. So that was interesting. Then I have other stuff in my chart. Again, the moon, Venus, and Mars, which I have in the other map as well. So I'm not going to read these again because I've already given the descriptions of those. And those are quite positive for my self growth, for my growth of myself and my success, happiness, and well-being. And again, the overall outcome is the same as from the other chart, because it's the same planetary influences that influence me in this 600-mile radius. This map is from astro.com, so it's a different map, and it has the moon phases and it has the Chiron. So nothing in the moon phase is influencing me, so that is fine. It's just this Chiron, and I'll read in the outcomes what that means to me. The Chiron energy of working on the wounded healer is to address healing any of the lingering spiritual or physical wounds left that need to be healed, and to take time out of the busy work schedule to make sure that time is provided for adequate healing and rest to happen over the next couple of months. These are the top priorities to work on. That is the influence of the Chiron in my chart for my Capricorn Scorpio chart, and balancing my health, balancing my well-being, healing, having time to heal, relax, have a time out to breathe, to meditate, to take care of whatever I need to do in my personal life, and to not overwork myself and not be a workaholic, because that is a tendency that I have. And that's something that's been a pattern for me for the longest time, that I've been trying to work on, to have a work-life balance. And that's part of the Chiron, to figure out that stuff. What are my priorities? What do I still need to look at realistically in my life and balance out better? That's what this chart shows us. And for this one in particular, you can do a world map, and then after that's charted, you can do the North American map, or wherever you are. Some people might be in Europe, some people might be in Asia, some people might be in North America, South America. You can choose any maps you want to chart. Again, you just need to know the day, month, and year when you were born, the time when you were born, the specific country and city you were born in, and you can do these astrocartography charts. And you can look at any place in the world if you want to move somewhere else. For example, I live in White Rock, British Columbia. If I wanted to move to, say, the United States in North America, there's plenty of other lines from my chart that are running through there that I can check in places where something can be. Like, for example, if we look at Colorado Springs, there's no lines at all running through that influence me at all. So it's a neutral space. There's not much going on. But if you look at somewhere else, like Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, there's lines. There's two lines, the Sun line and Jupiter, running through that. So that would be influencing me quite a bit. I'm not moving anywhere to Bermuda. No, that's a huge line. That's a Jupiter. Well, that's a Pluto line. Yeah, so the black one, that's a Pluto line. I'm not moving to Bermuda anytime soon, because it runs through Bermuda and other places, St. Pierre. Okay, yeah, I don't even, that's nowhere I would be moving to anyways. So it's just, like, as an example, quite interesting. And I have a lot of lines through Seattle, San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco. I'm not interested in those places. I don't even want to move there. So I'm fine where I am. I'm quite happy where I am, and I'm quite fortunate to live in White Rock, British Columbia, Canada. It's the most serene, peaceful place I've ever lived, with temperate climate. It's not too cold, it's not too hot. It's nice in the summer, warm by the ocean. In the winter, it's not cold or hot. It's some rain here, but it doesn't snow often, so it's a nice temperate climate. Not too hot, not too warm. Nice. It's nice. Good humidity. I like it. I like it when it rains. I like it when it shines. I just don't like it when it snows. Hard reality, I don't like snow. And I don't like super cold places or super hot places. I like a place that has a lot of water, a lot of trees, forests, lakes, rivers, which this place does have. It's quite nice. It's quiet. It's peaceful. It's hidden. I like places that are hidden away, where you can still get to places, but you're like out of the way. You're not in the middle of nowhere, but you're not in the middle of everywhere either. So a nice compromise, not too far away from civilization, but not overcrowded by civilization either. I don't like to live in big cities. I don't like to live in crowded places where there's a lot of people. That's not my scene. That's not my thing. I am the contemplative person. I like people and I like talking to people, but I don't want to be in a crowd of people. I don't want to be seen too much. I don't want to be heard too much. I like to feel connected to people in a respectful, kind way where, everybody has their space and everybody has enough space between themselves and distance to live in their own environment. And if they want to connect with each other, they can, because there's some lovely communities here and lovely people where I live, spiritually, metaphysically, physically, energetically. Lovely place. It's not overcrowded. People are respectful. It is very nice and decent here. So I'm happy, and the astrocartography shows that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, in the place where I should be. I just wanted to see if that was true. Am I in the most optimal place for my well-being and happiness? And this shows yes, I am. So it is a great place for me. I highly recommend trying to do astrocartography as a point of exploration to see if you are in the place you want to live in. And if it's not the most optimal, it will show you by the planetary influences. And if it is the most optimal, it'll show you again with the planetary influences that this indeed is the place for you. And if you're thinking of moving or exploring, traveling, astrocartography is great for that. It can help you to see on these maps with these lines what's the most optimal places for you to live or not live or to travel to. For example, to go on vacation. Doing astrocartography is great for that. So I wanted to share this experience and what I've been learning. And I'm sure there's people much more advanced in astrocartography than me. And maybe they do these readings differently. This is what I felt intuitively was the right thing for me to chart it this way, to explore. Because I've dabbled in astrology and numerology before, a little bit here and there. And I just decided to take a deeper look at it and really start seeing myself from an astrological point of view. Who am I? What am I doing here? What's my purpose from that perspective? And just find out a little bit more about who the heck is Elka from these tools. And it's been a very pleasant and wonderful experience for me. And I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much.